Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. We really do appreciate it. Today we've got a very exciting interview planned. We're going to be talking to Jack, who directed Tint. Man, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Caleb. Good to talk to you.
So just quickly, as the director of the film and the protagonist, can you just give me a brief synopsis of what the film is about?
Yeah, definitely. So Tint is a short film, essentially about a character I play whose hair is touched by a stranger. And the film is essentially this processing of what that kind of feels like from the point of view of myself. And yeah.
So I just want to ask quickly, I mean, being the director and the lead actor, I'm assuming that this film is really close to your heart. Was this based off of an inciting incident where someone did just happen to touch your hair and you're like, whoa, you know what, that's not on. It's about time I make a whole movie addressing this.
Well, it's funny because it's happened my whole life, really, since I was in high school, really, where I'd have instances, particularly with older women, who would come up and touch my hair, which I always thought was very invasive and very strange, and I kind of I don't know, I had been sitting with it for a while and decided I should write about it and I should make something from it, probably, just so people can become aware of these instances actually happening. Yeah.
So then just talk me through this process. Of course, now we have the inciting incident of the film, but majority of the film also takes place while on a date. Can you talk me through that process of, okay, cool, I want to incorporate this element into the film. Where did that come from?
I was going on a lot of dates at the time. I guess that's really where it came from. I think I've been on. I think I've always kind of been interested in the way that that people, particularly white people, have reacted to me retelling these stories or these instances or inciting incidences of I guess like microaggressions, I suppose. And I always just found that really interesting. And I think for me, it was kind of exploring this idea of how racism has evolved into what we kind of see in a contemporary setting. So I think the best vessel to kind of communicate that is through a date scene. You know, I'm in my early 20s, and a lot of the people who are going to be consuming this kind of content, I think they're going to be able to relate to a date, really, because it's a pretty universally enjoyed pastime, I guess.
So then I'm just going to ask you something like completely off the cuff now. How often have you fantasized about shooting people in the face with a shotgun once they've touched your hair?
Caleb, so many times, all the time. No, that part actually was an afterthought. Really, I only wrote that in pretty uh, late into writing the original first few drafts, and that scene, yeah, I guess that was kind of meant to represent the initial instinct or the initial feeling that you can ruminate on and kind of the initial emotion of frustration. I wanted to kind of present that in some capacity, and I thought no better way to convey that than shooting a man in the face with a shotgun.
So practically, how did you go about doing that scene? Because it looked freaking phenomenal, I'll say that. Like, that was one of the most brutal gunshots to the face I've ever seen in any film.
Thank you. No, that's our VFX artist and cinematographer, Darwin Schultz, who is just an absolute weapon. And shoots and color grades and does VFX and CGI. So honestly, a lot of it was just him, formulating that for us, which is amazing. He's a really close friend of ours, so he was generous enough to help us out with it. So that kind of process was just, it was a lot of kind of finding images of like meat and like just kind of particles and stuff, and then comping little segments out and then overlaying it over the original frame. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but that's kind of one of my takeaway experiences from that.
Now, while we're doing this interview, I can't help but notice you've got a full head of hair on you. At the end of the film, you are shaving your head off. Tell me, how was that done? Was that a wig? Because if so, that was one of the most realistic wigs I've ever seen. Or was that just filmed long enough ago that your hair's now grown out?
So we ended up shooting in October last year. And I decided that I had to shave my head for it. I knew I was going to, and I knew that was going to be, a big moment. And I didn't want to falsify anything. I wanted it to be as organic as possible. So I shaved my own head, and now, I haven't cut my hair since. I haven't cut my hair since. So it's been just over 12 months. Yeah.
It's a good thing you didn't have to do any reshoots, because that would have been very difficult.
Painful. Honestly, starting from scratch. I think I'd probably have to wear a ball cap if I did reshoots. I don't know how that boat over the. I'm trying out. I want to try out different hairstyles for every episode, maybe, or every future instance of Tint, really.
Well, look, honestly, thank you so much for joining me today. Can you just let me know, for the viewers at home that are interested in following you and future projects, what are you busy working on at the moment? Where they can follow you, whether that's Instagram, social media, if you have newsletters, anything like that.
Absolutely. So my Instagram handle is Uncle Russell, but you can also search my full name, Jack Voegt, and I will pop up on Instagram. At the moment, I'm just doing a couple short films, some music videos, stuff like that, and I'm also in the process of getting a pitch together to make some more episodes of Tint, really, and try to pitch a full web series. So yeah, just hoping to do that in the future, and chipping away at that, really. So yeah.
Well, man, thank you so much for joining me today. For those of you at home that are at all curious about the South African Independent Film Festival, you can find out more about the information on that in the description down below. Of course, all of Jack's socials will be there too. But guys, thank you so much for joining. If you did like this video, give us a like. Don't be afraid to use comments, and we hope you subscribe as well. Thank you so much.